Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Um, Having said that, the mayor and council wishes to acknowledge the town of Fort Smith is located within the Treaty 8 territory. The Treaty 8 territory encompasses of traditional homelands of Salt River First Nations, Smith Landing First Nations, and Indigenous Métis people of Fort Smith. These nations have maintained stewardship over their sacred lands throughout the generations. We honor their knowledge, teachings, traditions, and the land. We are mindful that colonization hasn't been kind. We respectfully recognize our generational histories to commit to strive for unity and the spirit of truth and reconciliation. Oh, I said it. Thanks. Having said that, um, uh, approval agenda.
I move the agenda be adopted as presented.
I'll second that.
Okay. Okay, second, all in favor, discussion. Councillor Tucky. Okay. Okay, discussion. See no discussion going into. Okay, Connie Bear Park discussion. Acting SAO.
Yeah, so brought this so that you can have a look at the original project for the paving around Connebear Park. We had budgeted $150,000 for the work. And so as planned, it's come in at about $130,000 plus GST. But we had also been asked to get a price for what it would cost to pave over the existing ditches along the one side of the highway to allow for vehicles and vendors and things like that to park along that side. So then there is also the potential to have that done, but it would be an additional $75,000, which would come out of gas tax or CPI. So there's two things within this. So deciding whether or not we want to go with the extra paving for the $75,000, as well as a sole source to NT Construction as they're the only paving company. And they'd be ready to start the work later this week if approved. That's all.
Okay, Councillor Kruvek, could you take the chair for a moment? Thanks.
Sure. Mayor Daniels.
Yeah, my only concern I kept on bringing up for the 3 years was I didn't see it in the drawings that would included the ditches. I truly think that we're wasting land there. And the thing is, I kind of wanted that nice and neat where on Portage you'd have your food vehicles storage there, so they're not on the road and not in the park. They got their own spaces. Now, if you go around the corner to McDougall, what I was looking at there was it would be also paved in. So you have the handy van van that could load there. That is totally their spot, and that's for the Northern Lights senior home. That those elders could get into the park much easier, and they don't have to walk or wheelchair people access there. And it's kind of a it's kind of a safety thing because you have seniors on the sidewalks, right? And those sidewalks are probably got a 2-inch lift on there. Now, if their scooters go off that car is going to tilt. What I'm scared of is it's going to roll in the ditch. Then we got serious problems. It's just too dangerous there, and that would really seal it off, and it would answer it right. So that was the thing that I was pushing over the last 3 years. Thanks.
Any further discussions? Oh, SAO.
Just so it's clear, it's only filling in the ditches along Portage. So that $75,000 isn't for the ditches on McDougall. It's only for Portage.
Yeah, okay, we could live with that because the other side there is basically no ditch. Just add the sand in there and that should do it, or gravel or whatever, right?
Do we have any further discussion? Mayor Daniels, will you take the chair back?
Yes, I will. Thanks. Any more discussions? Councillor Corbett.
Thank you. As part of the briefing note, there was very good job. Thank you very much for all the information and everything. You also, or the briefing note also addresses the possibility of the moving forward with the design of the actual park, of which we had, I believe, 350,000 of Canor funding, which I believe expires probably in 2027 at the latest. I know their funding comes with timelines, and I think we should be also looking at moving forward with getting designs for the actual facility so that we can look at moving forward with construction either later this summer or the start of the construction season next year. So I think we need to discuss that as well as part of our discussion here.
Yes, SAO. Acting.
And there will be, so this is likely work that would take place over the winter. So it's not as much of a time crunch. It's more to give an update on where we're sitting with the project. So a decision about this will have to be made, but it doesn't necessarily have to be made now. If there's more information you'd like to see about options and stuff like that, there is time to get that. Designs will not be ready in time to have construction starting this season. So we're looking at next season would be construction, but plans would be before the end of this fiscal. So there is more time to discuss this. The paving is something that's a carryover from the previous year. So we're trying to catch up on that first.
Councillor Corbett.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Also realizing this may be the last year that the paving company is actually overwintering here, and they'll probably demobilize at the end of the paving season. With that in mind, I would like to move that council agree that an additional $75,000 in capital funds available from CPI is necessary to provide vendor parking in Connie Bear Park.
I'll second.
Any other questions? See none, all in favor? All in favor, passed unanimously. Thanks. Councillor Corbett.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Continuing on, I move that council agree to approve a sole source award to NT Construction for $211,375.50 plus GST for the updated 2024 cost to pave Connie Bear parking lot for the elimination of ditch along Portage Avenue and replace with paved vendor parking.
I'll second.
Any questions? See none, all in favor? All in favor, passed unanimously. Okay, and Councillor Corbett.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that Councillor Campbell, Councillor Ferguson, and Deputy Mayor Kroll be excused from the special meeting of council SP 04-24 on June 4th, 2024.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor? All in favor, passed unanimously. Councillor Corbett,
I move meeting be adjourned at 7:17 PM.
I'll second that.
thanks. All in favor? All in favor, passed unanimously.